Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Miss Anne Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I am your host, Anne Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Broward Health, AARP, the Florida Lottery, and the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Hussman for Human Genomics, University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. If you or someone you know has experienced memory loss or memory problems, please feel free to reach out and contact their research team for more information at 877-686-6444. Today, we have an amazing woman who is an amazing leader in our community. We're joined by Miss Faye Johnson, who is the city administrator for the city of West Palm Beach. Welcome, Faye.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm well. I'm excited to be your guest and want to thank you again for having me.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Listen, I learned so much about you, and thank you for the opportunity to interview you a few weeks back as we were preparing for our Black History Month issue, and you are truly a history maker. So for those who don't know you, I'm just going to briefly go through some parts of your bio, but we're going to actually have you share who you are in your own words shortly. So Ms. Johnson is city administrator and has more than 33 years of diversified municipal experience, including 13 years in county government administration, 17 years in city government operation, and 3 years of formal city management training. Prior to her appointment in January of last year as city administrator, she served as assistant city administrator for the city of West Palm Beach. And you recently received the Credential Manager designation from the International City and County Management Association. Ms. Johnson is one of over 1,300 local government management professionals currently credentialed through the ICMA Voluntary Credentialing Program. In addition to that, you've made significant contributions to numerous organizations. You previously served as the board of directors for the Florida City County Management Association, National Forum for Black Public Administrators, and currently serves on the board of Leadership Palm Beach County. She's the recipient of the International City Management Association 2011 Strategic Leadership Award and was named the American City County Magazine 2011 County Leader of the Year. Ms. Johnson holds a Master's of Public Administration from Howard, HU University, and Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Bethune-Cookman College, BCU in the house. So welcome again.
Thank you.
So I know I just read your bio, but I like for our guests to share in their own words your journey in becoming the city of West Palm Beach's first African-American woman city administrator.
My journey, like every journey, starts, with a thought, or a desire on what you want to be in life. And as I look at mine, it would be couched in, a civic class where we did a mock city commission meeting. And out of that mock meeting, I learned at that time, the function of city government and the role of a city manager, and decided at that point that was what I wanted to do in life without understanding exactly what that entailed and what the road to becoming that entail. So fast forwarded from that civics government class in terms of formal training to get from there to where I am. I went to Bethune-Cookman with the sole intent, of becoming a city manager. So my undergraduate degree was in political science, as I had an understanding that I needed to understand the political landscape at which a city manager operated within, and then from there on to Howard University to get a master's in public administration. The MPA was the hallmark degree for a city manager and still is to a certain degree. And that degree actually provided me with the formal training of the ins and outs of a government operation or organization, and specifically the critical role that a manager plays in helping an organization to be successful. While in graduate school, I had the good fortune of a 2-year internship with the city of Rockville. So while I was getting the academic training of a city manager in a government operation, I was getting the hands-on experience through that internship. And then from there, in terms of the job experience, being able to come back home after moving through a couple of positions and getting an internship here with the city of West Palm Beach, that really set me on the path of where I am today. I spent 12 years on what I call my first tour of duty here at the city of West Palm, starting out in that internship capacity, and I moved through various management positions. What put my career on a different trajectory, if you will, was getting the appointment as the city's first housing and community development director. And that was at the appointment of the city's first strong mayor, which was Mayor Nancy Graham. That put me in a high level leadership position, gave me an opportunity to really demonstrate the type of skills that I had, the type of leadership ability that I had, and then also just the type of professional that I was in terms of my ethics and working hard. The mayor certainly took notice to that, I think, before she made the appointment, which is why she made the appointment. And I certainly wanted her to be proud of having made that appointment, because at that time I was the first African-American female director for the city. And certainly you felt that weight. I think anytime you're the first, you feel the extra weight of what that means and the eyes that are on you, on top of eyes being on you because of the fact that you happen to be a minority. You never get from under that microscope, if you will. And after spending the 12 years at the city, I moved on to Fort Lauderdale. And my final position there was as the Deputy Director of Economic Development. I was hired on as the Housing and Community Development Manager. And because of the background in the development track, I saw an opportunity with St. Lucie County that they were looking for an assistant county administrator who had a background in the development complement. Put my head in the ring, got that position. 5 years after serving in that capacity, was then appointed county administrator, first Black female county administrator there. And then spent 5 more years in that capacity, moved on to Palm Beach County after relocating back home. Had the good fortune of interacting with the mayor, our mayor, James, and he knew of my interest and my love with city government, and he and I had a couple of conversations, and long story short, he recruited me from the county to join his team as an assistant county city administrator, excuse me, and then I got the appointment as the city administrator in January of 2020.
Wow.
So there were a number of positions.
Well, it's amazing how it has all come full circle for you, and congratulations on everything. To really say that you envisioned this as a young girl, and then to now be, this dynamic woman who is have served in so many leadership roles, and now ultimately the one that brings you right back home. That's just amazing.
Yes, thank you. I want to add as part of my journey, because oftentimes when we look at people deemed in my capacity as leaders within the community and being successful. And I think this happens in all cases. People watching you don't see that struggle that got you to that point. So while I have certainly been successful in different, being given the opportunity to have different positions that propelled me to where I am, it certainly was not a civil road that was paved to get there. When I look at it in context, I fell in love with this notion of becoming a city manager at 13. And that dream was all but dashed, by becoming a teenage mother at 16. And had I not had the fortitude and support, given the time we're talking now, 47 some years ago, it was just not a realm of possibility for me at that time that I was going to finish high school. Having become pregnant in school and being a student in the very first class of pregnant girls that were allowed to go to school, because before then, if you became pregnant, you couldn't go to school. I mean, it was done, you were over. And when you think about the damage that did, because you certainly needed to have an education. So I had, just from a timing standpoint, an opportunity to go back to school after becoming pregnant. The road to city manager was tough in and of itself, but because of personal circumstances, being a teenage mom, that certainly added different layers of hardship. So it's balancing, how do you handle those life hardships, that you're dealt with, at the same time, the hardship from an academic and professional trike to get to where you want to go. And I have to always underscore that personal experience, because it was just not, a path with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Yeah.
In spite of being given the opportunities to get to where I am, there was still a significant amount of personal challenges that I had to withstand and navigate through to bring all of that together, to be sitting before you now as your legacy leader luncheon guest.
No, that's a good point. We're going to circle back to that shortly. So for those who, just briefly, what exactly is your role as a city administrator for those who may not be familiar, especially in a city where you have a strong mayor?
Okay, under our strong mayor form of government, the mayor, as the strong mayor, also is the chief executive officer of the city. And as the city administrator, I oversee the day-to-day operations. The city has about 1,700 plus employees with 12 operating departments that fall under the umbrella of the city administrator. So I oversee the day-to-day operations that deal primarily with the budget development, the financial processing of all of the items that go into the budget and running the finances of the city, overseeing the HR or employee related issues that you deal with day to day. So the day-to-day functions that keep our city running is what I oversee as the city administrator. And that can be anything from the utilities department, making certain that the water is on when you turn on the faucet, picking up the garbage, all of those day-to-day functions that impact our everyday life is what falls under the umbrella of the day-to-day operations of a city.
Okay, awesome. Now, your first year was a very challenging year, from scandals to COVID-19, institutional racism, and just, a plethora of things that you weren't able to really cozy up to your new role as some others may have been able to do in positions like yourself. How were you able to navigate those challenges, and what do you think prepared you in your career to do so?
In terms of navigating the challenges, You take one challenge at a time. You meet it head on. And certainly, as I look back over this first year, I mean, they just came in rapid succession, given that I was appointed city administrator, under this sex scandal that we had, and then we had a procurement scandal. But to just take each challenge as they come and to try to stay grounded and well thought out in terms of how you're going to deal with each challenge, and not get ahead of yourself, because you can lose sight of what's in front of you if you're trying to then get ahead of you to what's coming around the corner. But in terms of what prepared me for this challenge, it's the totality of that 33, now 35 years of body of work. Certainly, there were challenges that I dealt with when I was on board with Palm Beach County to a lesser extent. But as the county administrator for St. Lucie County, we had major challenges there. So each challenge that I have had throughout my career, I think, is a stepping ground of preparation for challenges that you face in this current position. And then certainly being able to effectively navigate them and get through them, that's a team effort. No city manager or city administrator, and I include myself at the top of that list, is effective or successful without the staff that works with them to get things done. And we happen to have a great leader in Mayor James, and he and I work hand in hand. So we face those challenges head on together, and working with the commission as an organization, we have gotten through each one of them, not without being scathed to an extent, but I think that we have effectively worked through them, and our city is doing well in spite of those challenges that we've dealt with this past year.
Absolutely. Now, the city of West Palm has been getting a lot of national attention, which is good attention. This is a neighborhood to look at with like the new Rosemary Square. There was just an article a couple of days ago about, or was it on CNN? But there's definitely been between Forbes and several other national news outlets. West Palm Beach is a place to take a look at for tourism, for a neighborhood to look at and possibly relocating, or even for investments or for corporations relocating their headquarters here. And I'm pretty sure the attention from former President Trump probably played some role in that, but even more so with just all of the different developments and things that are happening. Is the city ready for this influx? And what is on the horizon for West Palm Beach?
Certainly. I mean, to the question about whether we're ready for it, we certainly are. What I see as, one of the key components that is helping to generate, all of the attention and interest in West Palm is the continuation of building on the city's reputation and all of the good things that we have to offer. In working with Mayor James, I think he has taken it to another level by couching it, in this vision of making West Palm a community of opportunity. And that includes whether we are talking about bringing in new businesses or new corporate headquarters that want to take advantage of just the natural beauty and sunshine that they get by living in paradise, if you will, in the city, to making certain that our city continues to have and is, a city that is business friendly, that you can look to come here and you're going to be able to set up shop and get through our permitting and building process in an expedited fashion. And that if there are issues, the city will work with you to work through those. Not that everything you expect or want you're going to be able to get, but we're going to work in partnership with you. And then looking at maintaining our city, the beauty of our city, and dealing with the issues, because we have issues like all major cities in terms of homelessness, but addressing those in a compassionate manner, so that companies will feel comfortable that their investment is going to be protected. So I think having that vision that we want to become, this vibrant city that is a community of opportunity, rather is for someone like me who was born and raised here, had this dream and now am able to live it in my hometown. Or if it's for the young people who live here, they can look at their city as a place to come back to when they finish college, that they will have an opportunity. Or it's the businesses who are here, knowing that they have a city government that will work with them to help them stay in business. If they have issues, to work in partnership with them, or pulling in, some of the Fortune 500 companies that are now looking at West Palm and investing in West Palm. So we're a dynamic, vibrant city that has a lot going on. And I couldn't be more proud to be sitting in the capacity of the city administrator, working with the mayor and commission on executing this vision, and not it being just something on paper, but it's something you read, you feel, and you can touch, and it's exciting.
No, it is exciting. And West Palm is definitely no longer that sleepy town. There's a lot happening in the city of West Palm Beach. I think the last time I checked the development updates, I think it was about $1.9 billion worth of development underway, something of those numbers.
Yes.
So definitely on the rise. So with that being said, as a woman in leadership, who your life has come full circle, what advice do you have for other women leaders and aspiring leaders, including girls like that 13-year-old that you were, and other young women that may be college age, about to finish college and just trying to figure it out, especially during, these changing times that we're in with the pandemic and, everything else that's going on?
There is a saying in the word, and first of all, I'm a woman of great faith, but the saying, is along the line about, there being nothing new under the sun. And I think there is a lot of truth to that. A lot of the things that you needed to be successful back during the time that I was coming through, or back during the time that our ancestors were coming through, are still things that you need present day. You need to have a good measure of faith, because I think that grounds you, because the hard times are going to come. They may come from different perspectives or because of different circumstances, but they're going to come. I don't think that there is a paved road of gold where you can just go to where you want to go without there being some trials and tribulations, if we're going to put it in the spiritual context. So that's going to come. But then, being willing to work hard, you got to put in the work. There's this one saying that always troubled me that I heard coming through, and that was this notion of, fake it until you make it. I always frowned on that. I don't think that there is no road to success where you can fake things and then expect that you're going to make it. You have to put in the work. But in terms of some critical things that I feel have been and always will be important, that I pass on to young ladies that I meet with, my sons and whomever else, want to give me a sound bite. And that is some of the academic skills that I think are important across the line. And that is that old saying with reading, writing, and arithmetic. You have to read information that is put in front of you, and not just take for granted what somebody tells you, the information says. And yes, there's a level of trust that you have to have with your staff, the information that they get from you. But as a leader, and if you're in school, if you're that young girl in school or that young lady in college, you have to have a desire and willingness to read information. Writing It's very hard to get by nowadays without having to write something, even if it's writing your resume or writing if you're on a blog or writing if you're in a chat room. You have to have that ability to write. You have to know how to congregate, a verb and write a complete sentence. So speaking goes well with that. And then depending on the position, arithmetic. In my capacity, the city has a $700 million budget. Our general fund budget is $194 million of that, and that's where the focus is. So having that head for numbers and understanding how numbers, go together, is a critical element of being successful as a city administrator. And then ethics. Ethics are very important. You have to have values and determine who you're going to be at your core. When you step out of the role of city administrator, who are you as a person? Are you an honest individual? Are you compassionate? Do you have the wherewithal that you're going to try to pull someone else along? If you see someone else on the wrong track, are you that type of individual that is going to offer them a word of wisdom to help them kind of rethink where they're headed? Because it's so easy to get lost when you're trying to navigate. And now with so much being thrown at us, you can have your head filled with a lot of things that will be detrimental to your success. So what are you going to ground yourself in? Are the kinds of advice that I would give to anyone, regardless of where they are on the spectrum of trying to become who they have that innate ability to become. And we all have it. It's just tapping into it and then nurturing it and building on it.
Wow, thank you. That was a lot of golden nuggets in one question. So thank you for that. So before we wrap up, is there anything you want to share about the city of West Palm Beach, how to learn more about the amazing work that you're doing at the city? How do our listeners learn more and get in touch with you if they want to?
Well, the city website would be a very good starting point to learn about things that are going on with the city. The mayor produces a newsletter that viewers can subscribe to. I think that sort of helps you keep your finger on the pulse, with what's happening at the city. I always encourage residents or viewers to tune into our city commission meetings, because that provides you with up-to-date information on development requests that are being considered and approved by the city commission, all aspects of what's happening with city government. And then you always can contact your district city commissioner and or the mayor, and certainly your city administrator if there are specific questions about city operations. You can contact me through the city's website or through the city's main line. So we're all accessible. We're here to serve our residents, our constituents, the stakeholders here within our city. And we're always open to hearing, the good, bad, and the ugly about what we're doing. If there's an opportunity to make our city better, I think we all want that. We want West Palm to be the best city that it can be.
And that website for our listeners, Ms. Johnson, is?
WPB.org.
Okay. We will put that in the comments for anyone who wants to get in touch with the city of West Palm Beach and see all the amazing things that are happening. And is there one last takeaway that you'd like to leave with our audience?
Oh, geez.
If not, I mean, you just dropped a whole lot. So
I don't want to be redundant. So if there's anything else that you want to ask or in specific, I think I left quite a bit of nuggets and takeaways. I can talk about, how great I think our city is and, how much I love it. But I don't think time will permit me to do that.
Would you say come to West Palm and check it out for yourself?
Absolutely. West Palm is open for business. Come and enjoy all that it offers. It's a great city, a very vibrant city, a world-class city as in the making.
Absolutely. Well, stay with us just for a moment longer as we just do some last announcements. We want to again thank our sponsors, Broward Health, AARP, the Florida Lottery, and the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Husband for Human Genomics, University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. Also, our Power Issue nominations are open. So if you know of a powerful and influential community leader that you would like to nominate, please visit miamediagroup.com/nominations to nominate a Black professional in Broward, Miami-Dade, or Palm Beach County. Also, please check out our Black History Month issue, both Legacy Miami and Legacy South Florida, which Ms. Faye Johnson has graced the cover of Legacy South Florida, so please make sure you check out the issue. You can access that issue again at miamediagroup.com. And please remember to tune in to our show Soul, hosted by Nikki Jellin every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. as we disseminate intellectual entertainment on fashion, arts, culture, relationships, mental health, and food in South Florida. You can join live on Facebook at Facebook.com/MIA Media Group, or you can go back and watch it on YouTube if you missed it. Please share this video and mark your calendar. Thank you again, Ms. Johnson, for joining us. And be sure to join us again next Thursday at noon.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about the city that I love.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.